Hi everyone, this is Paul and Jamie with the Branson Fam here. We attended the Sunday afternoon concert at Thunder Ridge Nature's Arena with Garth Brooks. And we wanted to make sure that we brought this information to you as quickly as possible. We're trying to get this video out Monday morning. So Thunder Ridge is the new arena that is out at Big Cedar Lodge by Johnny Morris. He just does everything big and he does it right. So we want to tell you about this. There's usually advertised about 20,000 seats for each concert out there. The amphitheater is amazing. We want to make sure that we're telling you about that. First thing that we want to talk about are the tickets. So for this particular concert, you had to purchase your tickets online at Ticketmaster, okay? And when you do that, you want to make sure that you transfer those from Ticketmaster onto either your Apple Wallet on your phone or, if you have a different type of phone, make sure that you have it saved in some way that they can check that, because there's a chance you won't have internet whenever you get out to the actual venue. So have it on your Apple Wallet or similar on your device. And the tickets do sell out very quickly if they have a big name artist. We found that very quickly. So they opened up more concerts for the Garth Brooks events, which was nice that we got to go because they opened up more concerts. So tickets, purchase them quickly, purchase them early, because big names are going to be at this place. The next thing we want to talk about is the parking. So parking at this event, we learned from others who had previous concerts. There were several concerts in a row that Garth Brooks did. So we tried to take some of the tips from our friends who went beforehand, or maybe some people that we are in groups and part of. So we actually pre-purchased our parking in the Fruit Farm parking lot, which is off-site. And you want to make sure that you purchase that at Ticketmaster. They do have on-site parking as well, but that goes pretty quickly. So we were a little late to the game. We purchased the Fruit Farm parking. But it worked out for us, and we're going to talk a little bit about that.
The Fruit Farm was an unpaved parking lot, so it's actually just like a field that they put some roads in. It turned out to be pretty nice, and there's a ton of space over there, but it is quite a ways away from the venue on the opposite side of Highway 65 even. The buses then came to get us from that, which we were very lucky. We'd heard talks of it taking a while, but we actually got out of our car when we parked, went straight onto a bus. The bus sat there for a little while the other buses behind us got loaded for about 15 minutes or so, and then we were actually police escorted to the venue on the opposite side of the road of normal in a line of buses, like 6 tour buses coming through at the same time. And so we were able to get straight to the venue. It took us 9 minutes once our bus actually started moving from the Fruit Farm to go straight to the actual venue itself.
Yeah, so those charter buses were really nice. They were really smooth all the way to the bus unloading zone. So whenever you get there and you are on site, they unload at the top of one of the hills. And then you do have to walk a little ways down to what they call the fan zone. Okay, so the fan zone is just about anything that you can imagine at a Johnny Morris event. There was so much cool stuff. So you can imagine there were things from boats on sale and on display to side-by-sides. There were multiple cornhole stations, which a lot of people were taking part in. There was a Jeep Gladiator that was blaring music that was so cool, along with like this big speaker tower.
Shout out to Jay Foch from Power 965. He was the one on top of the tower.
Yeah, he was keeping the music going. So that was really cool to see and hear as you were arriving. And then there's also, you can't forget about the giant fish bounce house for your little ones to play at.
True Bass Pro move right there. True Bass Pro.
Yes, it was this giant fish bounce house. It was really cool. Like, our girls would have loved that. And then, of course, there were restrooms that were there. We will talk a little bit more about the restrooms here in a little bit. There was also food and beverage options, so that before you ever go into the arena, you have the chance to just kind of chill out, explore a little bit up there in the fan zone, have a great time with the music playing. So it was actually a really cool thing.
One of the more unique items that you can get food-wise is they have like bison burgers or bison dogs and things like that, bison brats, so that you have an option for any type of food that you might not get other places, you can get there.
Right. We do want to mention that there is a security checkpoint before you go into that fan zone experience. And with that, they make sure that you don't have any large bags. If you do have a bag, they look through it very thoroughly.
Very thoroughly.
Which, you know, I think that's a great safety measure. They were very thorough in every bag that we saw them checking, including ours. And then you, of course, had to make sure that there wasn't anything else in your blanket. They checked your blanket because you were allowed to take blankets in to sit on. From there,
Some things that you weren't allowed to take into this one. You weren't allowed to take any form of chair in. You weren't allowed to bring your own food or beverage whatsoever. You weren't allowed to have cameras that have like lenses and things like that on it. Your cell phones and all that's fine. No GoPros, no selfie sticks. All that stuff they thoroughly check for. Like they make you pull out your blanket. We had a stadium blanket. They feel around it. They make you shake it out. They go through your bags. Each item is like checked. I watched someone get their glasses case checked, and like they pulled the glasses out and even felt around the glasses case to make sure that no one was trying to get anything in that they weren't supposed to have.
Yeah, so I appreciate that safety measure. It was very thorough. Okay, so 2 hours before the showtime, you are able to go into the actual arena area. So before that time, you can enjoy the fan zone. Then they had lines forming for whichever area you were going to be in whenever you go into the arena. So 2 hours before showtime, they escort that line over to the arena area, and you go in and you pretty much find your spot.
Yep.
Yeah, so the closest seating, I should say the closest spots that you can have, you needed to have a wristband on. And they give you those whenever you are checking in with your ticket at the beginning before the security checkpoint. And then, so that you get a wristband if you're going into the areas that are closest to the stage and more on the ground level. The VIP is like the center area that is closest to the stage. And then kind of the side areas are closer to the stage on the ground level. That was called
the field pass area. So like the field.
Yes. And then the hill that is sloping down to it is called the hill. So
that's where we sit.
Yes. We had hill seats, and so we brought our little blanket, and you take your blanket, you go stake out your spot wherever you find a grassy area for the size of your blanket. You lay it down, and then you claim your spot. Yeah. So that is about 2 hours before showtime. They let you in there, and not saying that you have to be there right at that time, but we would highly suggest it because you can definitely claim a better spot that way. And you just get the full experience. You have a lot more time to explore, a lot more time to see everything that the arena offers. Okay, so we're going to go into talking about the food and beverage options because surprisingly, there were actually
quite a few options.
Yeah.
There really were.
Yeah. And the food and beverage options, a lot of them were on either side of the stage, very similar on both sides. So they have food and beverage options that are lining the stage, and then there's also a little food truck that will be stationed there, at least for this concert there was. So I personally chose to go to the food truck. I got a walking taco that was really good. That was about $8. And then anywhere you got water there was about $4. So that's what I got for food-wise.
I ended up getting a brisket macaroni and cheese deal with some fries, and I also got a water. And mine was about $24, $26, something like that for all of that.
Right. Yeah. And, I think when you go to a big event like this, you just kind of have to expect that prices might be a little bit more, but I wouldn't say that they're outrageous.
Not for events. Definitely not for events. I wouldn't say they're outrageous. I think they're on par with, going to a Chiefs game or something of that nature. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So we talked about water is probably going to be one of the things that you'll purchase there. That's about $4, or it was for this concert. And there are plenty of other food and beverage options as well. You know, it wasn't just the 2 things that we got. There was so much more. Like, there were burgers. There were those bison burgers were in there as well. There was a taco stand. There was a lot to choose
Gourmet nachos, shaved ice cream, some really good lemonade places. Lots of places that you could, including adult beverages and things of that nature as well.
Restrooms, because this is a big one that people are a little bit picky about. So we want to make sure that you know about the restrooms. And again, this was for the Garth Brooks concert. I don't know if it will change for the future ones, but for ours, the restrooms are all in the form of porta potties, but the ones that we went into were very well cleaned. They were very well maintained. And I felt like they were larger than normal small porta potties.
And plenty of them. Yeah. I was never waiting a single time to use one of the porta potties.
Right. Yeah. There were so many. If you are going around that food and beverage area, they're like back in that corner. And there were so many that were available. We didn't have to wait in a line ever to go use the restroom. And it was really nice that they had hand washing stations with soap, water, and then you could also use hand sanitizer after that. So I felt like they did a really good job with that area. Yeah. There are also restrooms that are at the parking lots. There is a restroom. There are plenty of restrooms at the fan zone as well.
There's also restrooms at the top for people with disabilities and things, so they don't have to go all the way down the bottom of the hill, then come back up the top of the hill where they were seated.
Absolutely. The performances, this is probably what some of you have been waiting and wanting to know about. So the Petersons, who we had heard would be there, I knew they were there on the opening night. I was hoping that they would be there because I love their music, and just the family is a great family. They perform
they're awesome.
In Branson at the little Opry Theater that's there in the IMAX. So if you ever get a chance to see their show, they are wonderful.
Absolutely. And great people, too.
Absolutely. So they actually performed opening before the air show. And just beautiful voices, beautiful music. We really enjoyed them. And then the air show, it started with one single pilot, one single plane. Oh, the air show was so cool. Like, it was cooler really than what I thought it would be. So it started with that single plane, single pilot, and he did some amazing stunts, like, just on his own. So
tons of loops, he did like an aerial stall where the plane looks like it's going to fly down and crash, then he kicks it back on and it starts taking off. He did multiple things where they said he was going from literally 0 miles per hour to 165 miles an hour in 2.5 seconds. So that's really booking it. I mean, you think about cars and how fast they go and how that can snap you back. So I'm sure he's feeling some force with that one. He was incredible himself. But then right after that, they bring out a squadron of 4 older planes that were around 80 years old that they're doing incredible stunts with. Loops, different tricks, ride on each other, just trusting each other to do things. And you can tell how well they're practiced and how well they're trained. I was like amazed by the air show. Like, I was trying to video some of it. And, like, I caught myself just wanting to watch it. Like, it was that incredible, and how much I personally enjoyed it.
Yeah, they were synchronized so well.
So well.
Yes. So that was really, really cool. And then after that, the air show concluded with a skydiver / turned into a parachuter. And he started coming down from the sky, or down from the plane, where he dropped off. And so his actual parachute was an American flag parachute, but then a full American flag,
huge American flag,
was attached to him as well. So that was a really cool thing to see, but then it got even better.
Because they brought the Pearsons back out and they performed the national anthem, with that being the flag for all the spectators to stand and pay attention to. So we thought that that was really a cool way of doing it, and something that's just a true, like, Johnny Morris move, is to make it grand, just even for what would be a typical national anthem. Well, let's do it big, let's do it cool.
Yeah, that was really, really neat. And then after the national anthem and paying respect to our country and the servicemen and women who fight for us every day, was the opening band. And they played some really recognizable songs, cover songs of a lot of famous country artists. So that was cool to, just kind of get you in the mood for the country vibes of Garth Brooks, who would soon be out on stage. Okay, so Garth Brooks, the man that we had been waiting for, the man that 20,000 people had been waiting for. And
4 days in a row.
4 days in a row. Incredible. He is such a great performer. I mean, he knows how to keep a audience's attention. He knows how to sing, obviously. Like, any of his albums, any of his songs, in person, he sounds just as smooth.
Identical.
Like his voice
incredible.
is just as smooth. So
man doesn't age either. I don't know how he's still able to do the physical stuff that he's doing while singing and do it for so long and in decently warm attire and warm weather with a lot of sunshine.
Right. Yeah. And he was very involved with like every single part of the audience. He would go from that side of the stage to the middle to that side of the stage, and it was throughout the concert. So I felt like he was just an incredible performer. Like so many people have told me like Garth Brooks is the GOAT. And yeah,
as far as country music goes, he seriously might be at that point. Like live, he is incredible.
Yes. And eventually, so whenever he was done with his set of songs, of course, he came out for an encore because we all wanted him back. He sang a few more songs from there, and Trisha Yearwood, his wife, came out, and that was so beautiful. Like, they interact and they sing so well together.
Like, they were made to be together. Like, it is that obvious.
Yes, for sure. And then Trisha started singing some of her songs, which was just great. Like, the male performer and then the female performer, them performing together, all of it together was just an incredible concert. Okay, so we actually left a little bit before the fireworks because we had to get home to get our kids to bed. There was a lot that was still to be done for the fireworks show, but we heard from a lot of our friends who were able to stay that it was a really cool fireworks show, that there were just a lot of like really cool designs that they put up into the sky. So I'm sad that we missed it, but we did have to get back to our family.
A boat with a fisherman and like the lion cast and everything. Like, it's incredible what all they can do. But
yeah. So hopefully in the future, if they're doing fireworks shows, we'll be able to stay. But that night we did have to leave just a little bit early. So we went back up to the bus loading station where they had dropped us off earlier. And there we waited probably, about 20 minutes or so?
I'd say 20 minutes accurate.
Yeah. Before we loaded another charter bus who was going to take us back to our fruit farm parking lot. Yep. And again, we did have a police escort with the line of charter buses that were taking us back to that fruit farm parking, which I felt safe the entire time. Like, those charter buses were just really nice. And having so much law enforcement involved with the whole process was...
Absolutely. State patrolmen everywhere. Yeah. Like, everywhere you could imagine.
Yeah. Made us feel very safe and secure. So, we made it back to our parking lot. Took us some time walking up to our car. And then we probably waited about 15 minutes to get out of the fruit farm lot. And then we stopped in traffic for a few minutes to let more buses go by. So that was probably another 12 minutes before we were able to get on the highway. And it was smooth sailing.
Once we got on the highway, it was a done deal. Like, it was like there wasn't traffic at all.
Right. So all in all, we felt like this experience was just an incredible start to something great with Thunder Ridge, Nature's Arena. When Johnny Morris does something, he does it big.
And great. Yeah. To the best visibility. He's going to do it to the very best visibility. So he's going to learn from these things that people are saying isn't right with it. And he's going to fix it. He's going to make it better. He's going to make it bigger. He's just going to improve on his already amazing arena that he's already designed.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we look forward to attending more concerts here because, if this is just like the start and the opening concert, I want to see what is yet to come, which we know is going to be great.
And it's not just concerts. Like, they're hosting, PBR events. They have a professional bull riding team that's going to be there. There's a big open area for them to host a lot of events. It's not just limited to just one thing. I promise you there's going to be some really cool stuff come through there.
Yeah. So we just wanted to give you some of the general information. We had received a lot of questions about just the arena, the concert, what it was about, or what it was like. So we wanted to make sure to bring you this information. But if you have other questions that you want to send our way, please type those down below in the comments, because we want to be sure to answer those for you. And we would love for you to come to a future concert or event that's out there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let us know if you have those questions. If you haven't subscribed yet, we would really appreciate you doing that. And also, please share with your friends, share with your families. We would love for them to subscribe as well. We're trying really hard to get to our 500 subscriber point so that we can put out community posts, and even about, like future concerts, future performances, future events that are in the Branson area.
Discounted ticket prices.
Right.
Discounted anything that you guys could come up with that we could get to you guys just to help out our subscribers. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. So if you will do that for us, please make sure that we are subscribed. Give us a like on our videos. That helps us as well. And, sharing, that helps us so much in so many different ways. All right. Well, until our next adventure, we'll catch y'all later.